So remember the video that I posted yesterday about the young dude that I met that was so fine or was so hot. But I want to tell you the discernment that I got with when I was talking to him. So when he approached me or whatever, he introduced himself. You know, he's like, I'm Harlem. You know, may I have your name? And I gave him my name or whatever. And then he's like, I'm from New York. Up here visiting my mother. I've been up here for 3 days. I just came home from the Navy. And I was all like, the Navy? Navy? He was all like, yeah, the Navy. And I'm like, you did? And he was like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh. And the first instinct that I thought when he said that was, this dude just came, he's fresh out of prison. I'm not stupid. You're not be able to pull a bull over my head. I can tell when someone just came home from prison. You came home from prison. He didn't have a phone talking about something. Somebody, he had his window down on his car. Somebody went and grabbed his phone and stole it. So now he was like, I'm on my way right now to go get a phone as I'm speaking to you. And I was all like, oh. So that's when he was like, can I have your number? And I was all like, how old are you? And that's when he told me his age. And I'm like, nah. But while I was talking to him, this guy was pulling out of the car wash because we was next to the car wash. And this guy was pulling out of the car wash and he rolls his window down. And he's like, yo. And then the way he was doing his hand actions and stuff like that or whatever with the dude, you know, the dude was like, yo, meet me in the parking lot or whatever. I'm like, And then he's smoking a cigarette, and I cannot stand cigarette smokers. But he kept hiding the cigarette, like, so the smoke wouldn't get in my face or whatever, because I could tell, he could tell I didn't like the cigarette smoke. And so I'm like, that's when I was like, you know what, you know, I don't, you know, date younger guys like that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of if he was young or not, I already knew I wasn't giving him my number. I already knew that this was a no-go because of, you know, the way that he looked. He looked like he was a street dude, you know, somebody who's in the street living that fast life, doing that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The way his car looked, the tinted windows and everything, you know, all that. And then I'm like, and then he looked good. I said, I was like, I know a jailbird when I see one. I was like, no. And you know, not to be, you know, funny or nothing like that, but I'm like, all I kept thinking about when he was talking was, this dude is fresh out of prison, because I can tell when somebody gets fresh out of prison. I dealt with a few guys who was fresh out of prison, and he has the same demeanor, the same disposition that they have when they fresh home. And then, come on now, you was in the Navy. I was all like, dude, don't make me start asking you, where's your pen, where's your badge, where's your uniform, and all this stuff, because I'm gonna start questioning you, and because I want proof that you was in the Navy. That's another way of saying I just came home from prison, but I'm trying to soften it up because I'm trying to get your number. No. Just like this dude that I met years ago did the same thing. Talking about, where did he say he come from? Oh, he said, I was in, what did he say? He said he was in Dominican Republic. Yes, he said he was in Dominican Republic for like 3 years. And he just came back up here. And the reason why, you know what I'm saying, he don't got his own apartment and he's staying with his mom is because, you know, he was in Dominican Republic and he just came out here. You know, he's just trying to get himself together. I was like, dude, I'm not dumb. I know when somebody came home from prison. And then I asked, did you just get home from prison? He denied it for a couple of times, and then he goes, yeah, I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want you to, you know, turn me down or whatever the case may be. And I was like, I already knew it from when you first approached me, so you didn't have to lie, you know. But that was a disaster. That didn't work anyways. But I'm just saying, the thing about it is discernment, you know, being able to recognize behaviors and patterns and certain keywords that people use when they're talking about themselves, or, you know, just when they're talking about a conversation. Just pick up on these senses. My spidey senses went off from the time he, you know, approached me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, like, my path is like, I'm not in the mood to be, I have to be with people, for me, who are equally yoked. Like, I know that if you in the streets or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and then how is it that I'm gonna know if you was gonna be living in Boston or not? Was you gonna stay in Boston, or was you going back to New York or whatever? Like, I'm not looking for no friends, no flings, no booty calls, no, none of that stuff. None of that stuff. No friends with benefits with, like, I'm not doing none of that. Netflix and chill, none of that. I am not doing none of that with nobody. Period. I'm in a place in my life where we're building, we're growing, we're going to uplift and pour into each other. I refuse, I'm telling you right now, I refuse to be in relationships with people where it's a one-sided way, where you're not pouring into me, where I'm showing up for everything, but you're not showing up for me, where I'm giving you all my time, energy, and effort, but you're not putting in the same time, energy, and effort into me. Like, it's not going to work. And I'm so strongly discerned. I'm so, like, keen on, people's behaviors. I have a great sense of judgment, and by far my judgment and my keen discernment does not ever fail me. If I speak it and I'm saying it, it is because it's true. I am dead spot on. It's rare that if I have discernment, or I feel a certain kind of way with someone, it's rare that I'm wrong. It's rare that I'm wrong. And I'm like, but and his looks was, like, I'm telling you, he was really looking good. But no, aside from looks, how is your personality? What is your spirit like? What does that heart do? What's your heart posture? Because a lot of times people, their appearances, their outward appearances look good, but what is your inside appearance? What is the inner man of you? Is it evil? Is it good? You know what I'm saying? Are you a nice person? Do you have, morals and values and stuff? Like, what that heart do? That's what it's about for me. What that heart do? It ain't about, oh, you look good on the outside and all this stuff, or, oh, you got a nice car, oh, you got this. Or, no, it's about your heart. It's about your morals, your values, principles. I'm very connected energetically. And so if I don't feel like the energy is connecting to me, I'll politely decline. And like I said, I'm looking for partnership, like to have a partnership with someone. Ain't no, like, fun time. It ain't no short-term thing. It's long-term. We're in it for the long run. If you're not doing this for the long run, then you might as well keep it moving, because I'm not interested. And I don't do out of state. I'm not dealing with nobody out of state. No, you better be in state. And then we can travel out of state and go somewhere else. But I'm not dealing with no out of state, long distance relationships either. But I just wanted to say that discernment is that's a spiritual gift. That's a talent that you have. Use discernment. Be discerned. Don't just be letting, like, when you see red flags, when you hear red flags, when you sense the energy ain't whatever, don't ignore that. Don't dismiss that and go, oh, that ain't nothing. No. That's discernment. When you sensing something, that's your gut, your intuition, your second brain, your intuition, your second brain is telling you, red alert, warning, be careful, pay attention to this person, this situation, this thing that you're doing or dealing with. Be discerned, be highly alert. That's why you have to be sober and vigilant, because like it says, the devil comes to, kill, steal, and destroy. He's walking around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he can devour. And if you're not discerned, you're going to get devoured. And I just wanted to give you that word on today. Thanks for watching. Until next time.